I'm welcoming Christian Casari, Head of Sales, Artificial Intelligence at OnTech AG. Yep. Have fun.
So, hello. A lot of guys are leaving. Have a good break. Yeah, augmented intelligence, the future of GenAI. So that's not a deep tech talk. That would be more about business cases, actually. So, yeah, it's working. I'm Christian. I'm in sales. So again, if you have deep tech questions, I can forward it to my techies. So, I try to transform. Of course, I go to customers, talk to them, and then try to translate it into AI solutions. Yeah, what is OnTech? Just a few things here. Yeah, we are like 25 years already in business. We are in the essential business process area, actually, as OnTech, but OnTech AI is more broad. So we do have a lot of other industries as well. We are roughly 120 employees, so not really a startup anymore with 25 years. But the AI part is kind of a startup-ish thing still in the OnTech environment. Yeah, and there are some customers of us, and I will go into detail of some of them later on in the talk. So yeah, it's always nice to start with a quote. The future of AI is not about replacing humans, it's about augmenting human capabilities. So Sundar Pichai said that, the CEO of Google. What else should he say? Yeah, I will replace all your work in a couple of years. Wouldn't be a good quote probably. But still, I think augmenting is the way, at least at the moment, to go for a lot of AI projects. So I'm talking about what is augmented intelligence. Then just shortly, just to have the definition. Then why augmented intelligence, very brief as well. And then I mostly talk about projects. So artificial and augmented intelligence, you probably all know. There are like human capabilities, there are like artificial capabilities, and kind of the layover is the augmented thing. So augmented is kind of ideal for complex decision, yeah, where you need human judgment still, and there are still a lot of things where you need human judgment. Then for creative things like empathy, ethics, etc., AI can't do that, yeah, still, and probably won't never do that, hopefully at least. And then, of course, applications where humans are in the center of all doings. Like all of you were kids probably, maybe you have already kids, and you know kids learn from humans, not from machines. So education, for example, is a very good example. Of course, augmented, it makes sense. You can like really boost the way you educate with machines, but still human being is here essential. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, of course, like it's full automated systems. Yes, clear, makes sense. Autonomous vehicles, for example, in the States, they're still like shortly they come in London, for example. I think in Vienna it will take some time that we get one. Large data processing tasks, nobody wants to do that anyway. And yeah, of course, projects like generally where efficiency and speed is the most priority or the highest priority. So why augmented intelligence? Again, complex decision, and I think the most important thing is really trust and buy-in. I will like maybe come later to that when I talk about the practice insights, because normally, like we are in an AI bubble here. We know more or less how AI is functioning. We read about that more or less every day, and probably we work with that. But more or less all other people don't. So if you come to like a normal production site, for example, AI is just a word. Or maybe they don't even know AI, they just know something weird. And there you have to like get trust, you get a buy-in, and you can do that by step-by-step implementation. Yeah, because if you like put in a full automated process, AI-based, probably not a good idea, or you will get a lot of issues to maybe you can make a POC, but it will never get a real project then. Technically, hallucination prevention, very important. Like all of us know 100 examples of hallucinations from ChatGPT, for example, and a person or a human being can still overlook that, and then it's it's probably a better outcome afterwards. Transparency is another very important thing. So is an LLM transparent? No. Because you don't know why you got that answer. And if you have a human being in the loop, it at least gives us a better feeling. If it's a better result, we can argue about that one. And then, of course, like if you don't have defined processes, of course, like there are agents out there which can do magic, I know, but still, if you want to automate something, you should be aware about the processes. It helps a lot. Well, and now I want to talk about some really insights, some projects of us. So what I want to do here is really to give you an idea what we have done, give you a flavor what was the problem, some insights here. And if you have questions, just ask. So we should have enough time, so just speak up. Well, I start with BVAEB. That's not easy to pronounce in English. It's B for AEB in German. What is it? It's the insurance institution for civil servants. And there are more than 1.5 million in Austria. We do have a lot of civil servants. And they have some other guys are insured there as well. What do we want to tackle there? We want to tackle there the question, is that insured? So if I, for example, get a bracket, a Zahnspange, that costs a lot of money. So after that, I got a huge bill, and then I want to get a refund from my insurance company. So do I get that or not? So as a specialist there, I have to go through a lot of documents, like with very complicated medical terms, and there is like a folder structure, very complicated, and everybody have a different folder structure, and so on and so forth. That was the problem, and sometimes the documents were conflicting. So you can ask a question and get 3 different answers based on 3 different documents. Which is true, you have to find out. If you have, if you're if you just started there, you need months or years to tackle that problem in the right manner. So it's not easy. Because it's just a very complicated structure there and everything. That doesn't help, but it's a complicated thing. The next problem was that the data were not completely not machine readable. They had funny things like, we strike through like the words and then they are not valid anymore. Well, tell that an LLM. They highlight things which are great because then they are more important. Tell that an LLM and stuff like that. Sometimes they said, okay, that's a proper PDF, but at the end of the day, it was a picture made like from a photo and then made to a PDF, and that was our database. So that was quite challenging as well. So end of the day, we wanted to reduce the times to search, and what was very important, to make that more or less consistent. Because in Vienna, for example, it was different than in Upper Austria and Lower Austria. We have counties in Austria, and they all have their own kind of procedure to do that. And if I ask in Vienna or if I ask in Upper Austria, probably I didn't get the same result, which is not really cool, actually. Like, depend where you are and which result you get, but normally it should be consistent, I would say. So so here the search was quite challenging as well. So we need a hybrid search because of all these technical articles, technical words. Like a normal semantic search doesn't fit at all. You need a keyword search as well in combination, and then do some other tricks. Otherwise, you don't get good results. So it was quite a learning curve as well. What was very important as well is a feedback option. So in our platform, you need a feedback. If you get an answer as a user now, you get an answer, and then you can say, okay, is that good or not? Like thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, but that's not enough. So you need to say what was not good, because it could be the document. It could be maybe there is no document. Maybe it was the complete wrong answer. Whatever. Yeah, and therefore you can just get the answers better and better. Right, any questions? Yes.
Did you also use the information about the person who is asking? Because if you have like this quarter, like in certain quarter, you can use some services and then you cannot use them again in the next quarter or some stuff like this. How did you incorporate this, if you did it?
Don't know if I get the answer right, the question right. Like we need a hierarchy in the documents, that's for sure. So for example, if there is any change, we need a hierarchy, but I don't think I got it.
So there are some rules that are basically internal insurance rules, which is the hierarchy that you are referring to, I assume. But there is also something that is maybe insured for me is not will not be reimbursed for someone else because of, I don't know, medical history or whatever. Did you also use
no, there's no personal data involved, so that's really like just general data.
Okay.
But of course, like it's important. What is important? Who am I to use the system? So I'm not allowed to see everything, for example. So that's for sure. But there's no personal data involved because then, like we are still in the DACH region, the EU. Then GDPR goes crazy here. So then it's really tough. But that's actually something we plan. So the next thing is Sunny Cars. So do some advertisement here. It's a car rental broker. Actually, I can really, it's really a good one. And if you just get your rental car from them, we just get more revenue and they can just get a bit more money for very expensive AI systems. We start there with an email, like just a classical email automatization. So they just get tons of emails, like arguing whatever with their cars. And they had no automatic processes. They always said, like, their culture was the customer is the most important thing, and we have to get best answers in fast time, etc., etc. And so what we do, we made a neural network. We just made an email categorization, and then it goes directly into their CRM system with a summary, with the right category, with a sentiment analysis, and then they can work from there again. So that was cool, but not really a wow, to be honest. Why? Because but it was the foundation to make more. It was the foundation to say, okay, well, you get that amount of emails. Could we maybe automate it completely? So you don't even see that. Because you have to imagine, if there is high season, they got like so many emails in a very short time, and then the backlog just like increases, and it stresses everybody out, etc., etc. That was really the base work. And this what I mean with the step-by-step. Sometimes you have to start anywhere, maybe a little project, which kind of makes sense, which is kind of, doable, but then you gain trust, and then you can work further. And this is what happened. So then we are strategic partner of Sunny Cars now in AI stuff. So we said, okay, well, let's go to every department and talk to every department and say, what could we do for them? What can we do for them? And there were I think 70 or 60 potential use cases. But at the end of the day, we looked at the 60 use cases and we made 40 and just combined it with a digital assistant. They can just be covered with a digital assistant. This digital assistant is called Kala. And the problem was they sometimes get inquiries or questions from users which are a bit complicated. So we have to go to 2 or 3 different databases. You have to retrieve the data, then you get the data, then you have to formulate an answer and send it back. And this is quite time-consuming. You can do that with an agent now. So there is just a normal interface, a chat interface. There's an agent behind. This agent goes to the databases if he is getting an answer, retrieving the data, and then you have the data. Then you can really just play with the data, and that helps them a lot. And again, that was for them it was 20 or 30 use cases. For us, it was 1 use case. It's a digital assistant. And now we are actually in the situation that we again can complete processes. So if a customer asks something, we can retrieve the data from the customer data, we can retrieve the data from the rental car brokers, and just combine it and send the answer back to them. And at the moment, it's all augmented, but some parts of that can be completely automated later on. But again, step by step. Right. So any questions, just ask. Yeah. Yes, please. Thanks for asking. So we are a platform more or less, and we use we are complete agnostic. So we use in that way we use the GPT-4o via Azure tenant. It's at least on the paper it's safe because it's processed in Europe. Of course, with the email categorization, we have to train a neural network to make this categorization. And the agents, it's on our it's one module of our platform, and there. Actually, if I say something now, it would probably make a fool of me. So I can ask that. Does that answer your question more or less? Yes, yeah, of course, plenty. Yeah, that was a good thing. Plenty of data here, and they actually had the categories already in place. So we know I need these 7 categories. We had another customer, he said, "Okay, I don't know how to categorize it. Please find categories and then make the categorization." Yes, and I think we need six loops, and then it was pretty fine. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, then Grenke. Grenke is a financial service company. In detail, what they are doing is small asset leasing. So if you're from DACH, it's das Jobrad, so it's a bicycle you can rent via your company, for example. They're doing stuff like that, for example. And it's a high regulated market. So everything which is finance, etc., it's high regulated. And they didn't want their employees to use ChatGPT. But of course, they had to do anything that they are able to use something like that, because of course it kind of makes sense, yeah, to use such a system. So what we do, we did an enterprise GPT. This enterprise GPT is more or less like a kind of a ChatGPT clone. Of course, we're never as good as ChatGPT, yeah, you have to admit that. But the good thing is you can combine it with other stuff. For example, they had a DMS system. The company is called CWA or CWA, and they didn't have an API. It was really hard to get the data out of this system. Even for them before, it was a challenge. For us, with an agent, it was quite a challenge as well. We mastered it. And now, again, that's the foundation. They have now this enterprise GPT, everybody's using it, and then nearly every week a new use case is coming up from the guys in the department. Couldn't we do that? Let's do that. Maybe that could be automated as well, etc., etc. So again, you start with something, and then, in German, you say, mit dem Essen kommt der Appetit. So if you start eating, you get hungry, yeah, or you enjoy eating. So this is a thing which really is important for how you do your projects. So did I forget anything I want to say? Well, yes, of course, you use search times. Yes, of course. And here, yeah, maybe one interesting thing, because they are so regulated, we had these enterprise GPTs on the one hand on-premise, on the other hand on cloud. So for sensible data, we work on-premise. For not sensible data, we work on cloud. So there's a junction, and you can use you have best of both worlds here, because if you have it on-prem, it's kind of investment, and yeah, with the cloud, you know what the difference between cloud and on-premise is, I suppose. Right. Wort- and Bildverlag. So all which are living in Austria or in Germany maybe know Apothekenumschau. It's like in every pharmacy there is this magazine, and there are tips how to get healthy, and they describe drugs, etc., etc. They have actually 20 million readers, so they are one of the biggest in Germany and Austria. And they, as all publishers, do have a problem. How to earn money in the future. Because, of course, print is maybe not the best bet in the future. On the other hand, advertisement, which was very big as well, is kind of challenging as well. Why? Because if you now still Google or if you ask ChatGPT, what you get an AI-generated answer, and you don't have any sources anymore. You don't go to the original sources. And so they never get traffic on their homepage, or they get less traffic on their homepage in the future. So what do they have? Yeah, they do have 20,000 articles, and each article is kind of checked from a medical expert. For example, about what you do after a heart attack or whatever. Yeah, and they do have that. So on their homepage, you can now really search with like an LLM, with an RAG technology, like retrieval augmented generation. For example, my question I always ask, I do have a bit of a cold, can I still go running? Yeah, I do that every time. I get every time I answer, but I always ask it again. And this is something you can get. What you get an answer, and you get the sources. You get the articles, like a typical RAG. You get the articles which the answer is based on. And this is quite a cool thing. Now, the next step is to combine it with KYC, know your customers. So you have a login. I log in as Christian. Say I'm diabetic. I log in there. I said, well, I have a cold. I got this medicine. Can I take that? And then they just get like a comparison about drugs. Do they work well together? Yes, they do. Fine. Or I had like an injury or whatever. I want to get fit again, and I can really ask this. And they just use the really good information they do have, compared, of course, with the normal technology. So they see AI as a threat on the one hand, but as an opportunity on the other hand. Right. Then there are some other companies which are under NDA, so I can't name them as a name. So it's the chemical industry. So in the chemical industry, the product is very complicated. If I'm a sales guy there and I start, and I was like studying that, yeah, fine. But then I go to the customer, and then they let me know what their problem is, and then I will say, ooh, I guesstimate what product that could be from our side. Normally, these guesses are not perfect. And then I write a report. This report goes to the guys in the lab, and the guys in the lab said, this stupid sales guy, you don't know our product. And they will just completely, okay, you have to ask this question, this question, these questions, and I think it will be that product. That's not the perfect way to do sales, actually. So it's a lot better if you're more educated. So what we do is we make a recommendation solution. So you're at the customer, you have your laptop, you get the questions, you key them in, and you have kind of it's a digital assistant again, based on lab data, based on other data, and that helps you to make better decisions, and maybe just like make you aware that you maybe should ask some more questions. They do have another problem. They do have one guy, he's 70, and he's a genius. And everything they run into a problem, like they can't solve it, then they ask this guy. But again, he's 70, so that won't last forever. Maybe this business model is not the perfect thing. And they want kind of to get this information from him and document this information. And we can do that with our tool as well. So if you get new information, you kind of, you get it, and then you have, of course, document it in a way, and then it will be part of the database, and then, it's getting better and better. Right. One more thing, building industry. And the building industry, that's a thing which I come across all the time, the tenders. So everybody hates tenders, at least I don't know anybody who likes tenders. And they got a lot of tenders, like thousands of tenders per month, which they could apply. But which are the right ones? And they had a lot of data, historical data. And we just checked historical data, made a neural network, tried to say, okay, what is a good tender, what is not a good tender, what is likely to get won, what not. And we achieved to do that. And now we can say with 85%, we could say you should go for this tender, or you shouldn't go for that tender. And that saved them a lot of time. It's actually, that's a live system as well. That was a really interesting project, because there were a lot of data was coming into to process, and interesting to see that in different industries. Well, So, thank you for having me. Here is a QR code if you want to connect with me via LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And I will be outside if you have some if you want to have some private talk as well. So, questions have been already.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you so much. No, I don't need it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christian, for insightful presentation.